You cannot quicken a wound. A tear, a gash, a split, a slit, a lesion, a burn, an ache, a yearning, a longing, a fear. You cannot quicken a wound. With water, wash. With fire, sear. With air, soothe. With earth, nourish. With ointment, calm. With needle, stitch. With scalpel, incise. With none, quicken. With care, enter where the hurt burrowed itself unwelcome into tissue, muscle, bone. Pull it out, close the wound. With tongue, lick, cowering in a corner, head bowed, pressing yourself against the walls, removed from your pack, you terrified animal tasting iron in your spit. Wait. There is nothing to do but wait. You cannot quicken a wound. You watch, like paint drying on your walls, unable to tell if they've stopped bleeding. So you touch, disturb chemistry, disturb repose, disturb stillness. Your finger digs into flesh, supple and giving under your insistence, branded with the imprint of your curiosity, the valleys and ridges of your impatience carved into the paint. With the blade of your skin, a landscape mysteriously bruised until someone reads the ground, sees the ridges, the cracks, the ravines, the guilting scars in the earth, and with keen eye points a knowing finger at you, and the red on your hand saying, I told you, don't tap the glass. The Hubei Weather Authority in China reported a sharp rise in sea levels in the province on Thursday. Hubei authorities attribute the rise to the sudden change in global weather that has led to a chain of earthquakes and storm surges in the hemisphere that isn't ours. Japan has reported a 3-centimeter rise in sea level on its coast, while Taiwan, the Philippines, South Korea, and France have each recorded a 1-centimeter rise. What do you do when you can't accept your reality? When you find yourself in a reality you don't agree with, in a reality that doesn't agree with you? Luckily, according to quantum physics, reality is only an approximation. On a subatomic level, particles often behave in ways that contradict the many rules of our shared reality. Even atoms can somehow be in two places at once. If nothing can be completely true, anything can be real, right? With enough willpower, enough wanting, we engage our minds in the creation of a new reality altogether. We can rearrange atoms, bend wavelengths, tune vibrations to approximate our own realities. And this non-reality, that little corner you created for yourself, can become a very real oasis. But what are you doing in this oasis? Once you know how to create it, what do? You hide within the construction of walls where ends meet to create corners within which you cower, shelters for your shyness, walls that block out worlds. Will these walls hold? When real life finds you in your hiding place, playing make-believe. When reality cascades. When the tidal wave of wakefulness crashes against your subatomic simulation, rapids of truth and untruth crash into each other, eradicating the singularity of a stream. When the tidal wave of wakefulness crashes against your subatomic simulation, rapids of truth and untruth thrash into each other, eradicating the singularity of a stream. this reality was created by bending the particles in the air like the warped heat of the desert that creates the illusion, the mirage. And you cannot dive into something you can't touch. Just saying, sexuality is fluid. So what, you like boys one day and girls another? Why you gotta bring gender into it? You're such a water sign. Think about it. Our energy is like, if you took the energy that like makes us up and sublimated it into a liquid, it wouldn't be viscous like syrup, it would be fluid like water. You're tripping. I know.
It's a blue world without you. It's a blue
Shakespeare said that. I've mixed feelings about him. Those are beautiful words, right? But also, Shakespeare is a monolith. Since he was supported by white people, he has this excellence and fame now, and he looms over everyone who wants to express themselves using the English language. When I sit down to write poetry, sometimes I'm like, what's the point? Shakespeare said that more eloquently than I ever would. A monolith does to your perception of yourself what water does to light when it fools your eyes, bending the straw in your glass. It makes your reflection bigger or smaller, warped or distorted. It makes it hard to be comfortable being yourself. Thanks for tuning into Thought Bubble. Come float in this little headspace. On today's episode, the motion of grief. There's a saying that grief is like a ball in a box, and in the box is a little button. The ball represents grief, while the button represents pain. Whenever you move the box, the ball bounces around and presses the button. At first, the ball is big, so it hits the button over and over. Over time, the ball gradually gets smaller, so it hits the button less. The thing is, you're still pressing the same button. It's still the same pain, the same plunge, the same grief. Thanks for tuning into Thought Bubble. Come float in this little headspace. On this episode, the cleanse of escapism. For those who don't actively practice meditation, the most immediate method of creating an instant sensory refuge is to luxuriate in the shower. There's a curtain between you and the world. The trickle of water makes you acutely aware of your body, and your anxious, meticulous, infuriatingly human minds can let go of all the pressure of needing to be functional. You start to float into an acute state of mental clarity. Some may call it a gentle dissociation. For these 5 minutes under the water, you've been set adrift, and as if by magic, you've escaped. This phenomenon stands the test of time, back to our ape ancestors. Research shows that primates would stand under waterfalls to quell their fight or flight responses after hunting or being hunted. The rush of water would promote homeostasis, slowing down the release of adrenaline and regulating the body. Our primate ancestors intuited that they could literally let the stress wash away. It's not real. The theory isn't entirely scientific. I kind of found it on Tumblr. Sorry. I researched though. I couldn't find it. But God, do I want to believe in it. With hardship at your heels, looming over your shoulder, curling up and holding on to stress is a luxury you can't afford. So take comfort in the pseudoscience, in the notion that with something as simple as a shower, we could be harnessing a genetic ability to wield nature to help us let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Today, the Florida Everglades receives less than a third of their historic water flow. Draining wetlands was fashionable back in the 1880s. Back then, people with money who wanted cheap land bought parts of the Everglades and built canals to try and dry out the swamplands. In 1947, an earthen dam named after another dam named after another white dude, the Hoover Dike, was built to surround Lake Okeechobee, which flows south from central Florida into the Great Marsh. This dam and the ensuing network of levees and canals clotted Florida's circulatory system. One big dike, a series of small levees, some canals, that's all it took to misdirect water. That's all it took to make Florida's veins grow cold. Misdirect water and, well, you're misdirecting nature. Misdirect nature, and you can live in peaceful activity. Psychologists posit that we create veins in our brains. We block off certain pathways, making certain trains of thought impossible. We shut out what we fear. We're quite good at this, at clotting our own veins. We're good at stopping life from flowing through us. But, let's admit it, a human body absent blood flow is just a cadaver. You're just a shell of yourself. The Everglades will never be what they once were. Meteorologists Ryan Seacrest and Whoopi Goldberg threw out their usual audiences on Wednesday, recommending viewers watch The Weather View from a high, dry place. Goldberg put it plainly, for the first time ever, as you can see, if you looked around, we made the decision not to have a studio audience. This is unprecedented. The inclement weather that's been decimating cities around the globe is set to hit by Friday. Move away from the ocean, avoid above-ground events, stock up on essentials, and take shelter above sea level. What is too much? What is too little? What does it mean to have? And what, then, do you have? What belongs to you? To what do you belong? Are you belonging? It is human to fear permanence, and so to have more, to keep having, to keep building, to refuse to let go of, to take. Who are you taking from? fear change, to fear destruction, to fear abolition, to fear waning. So one might ask oneself, what do I have? What don't I have? Stuck. If contentment is a constantly fleeting state of being, do we spend our precious minutes chasing rather than being? Do we take over in place of taking in? Do we stop rather than stop? It seems inhuman to stop in human fashion, to avoid looking back, to fear looking forward, and to avoid being denied. What then are you, if not your past, your now, your later, chasing what? Are you chasing your own denial? What do you have? What don't you have? Safety, sanctuary, sanity. Are you drowning in something other than water, other than liquid? Fixated on evading asphyxiation, bugs crawling under a flagrant invasion, yes. No, do you have too much or do you have too little? Are you just right? Or are you just wrong? Or is there no catastrophic flooding underway as dam failures forced thousands to evacuate. Floodwaters have inundated houses and businesses along and prompted the National Weather Service to issue a rare flash flood emergency. This is one of those nightmare scenarios we hope never happens, meteorologist Zora Armstead wrote in a tweet. We are in a climate emergency. Listeners are advised to shelter in a high, dry place. You look up and wonder. You look up and wonder. How is this possible? Can a force so colossal truly be invisible? You've spun so long inside yourself. Influence remains unseen, unless it is physically felt, like gravity. Labeling concepts is all well and good until your stomach drops. We can't see what moves them, but pendulums swing. And there must be balance, so you cannot be surprised when up comes down on you. You'll start by missing all the untouched corners, that unused space where wall meets wall, a comforting empty 90. Within it, everything you know. Outside, everything else. Wouldn't you like to hide there where nobody's watching? Seeking solace in solitude, is this your chosen guardian? The lonely walls you lean on are no substitute for watchful eyes and outstretched hands. If you take all the unused space and put the corners together, you'd get one big space and nowhere to hide. Your walls are gone, little animal, suddenly vulnerable. But to be seen is to be watched over, looked after. Cower still if you must. You'll be met where you are. Too much, too little, too much, too little, too much, too little. Down, down, down. If your tunnel is a circle, there is no light at the end. Only ever on that distant other side. Unreachable. Those bugs under your skin, they move faster than you could. They tore you open, an inner flow turned overflow. For your rejection of reflection, you tried your very best to drown. They stole you from what you stole from everyone. Yourself, your comfort, for your now, your later. If your tunnel is a circle, there is no light at the end. Ever on that distant other side. You cannot escape from a tunnel that is a circle where there is no end, no light anywhere but on that distant other side. You think yourself unnatural selection. What profound delusions possess you? Thought is not the solution to existence. The thinking mind is thinking a lot, but thought is not the solution to existence. Thought follows the thread of causality. Well, if this means that, then that must mean this, which implies that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. You think your thought can correct your feeling. You think your thought can keep your feeling out. You think questions of cause and effect can reach down into the deepest abysses of being. You think your research will yield some kernel of solid truth, but a bit of data cannot contain what you want it to contain. The truth has been under your nose the whole time, truth seeker. Sleeper. This is what's happening here. there is no solution to existence. And even if there were, it wouldn't be in thinking. Because there isn't living in thinking. The living is in feeling. How does it feel to admit it? How does it feel to have your heart touch? How much you will feel, and how free you will be when you finally surrender.
The scale of the environmental crisis finally seems to be hitting home and across the world. Battered oceans, collapsing ecosystems, species extinctions, and extreme weather are generating refugee flows, undermining agriculture, and threatening global supply chains. Without dramatic action within the year, rising seas will swamp cities everywhere from Shanghai to Miami. Another storm surge is coming. We cannot predict exactly where or when. It will hit hard.
Your angels were replaced by strangers. Your strangers felt more familiar. The bugs surged out of your skin and, freshly unisolated, returned to the dirt they were birthed from, allowing for the drainage of a wound only the ground can heal. Let out. Your tunnel, your flesh, your veins, broken so that something could shine through. This earth, for all her wounds, has a way of filling the void. Not quickened, not left alone, but pulsed into. Indeed, even permanence cannot evade change, just as long as something pulses, something unsuffocated gives. You have learned to wear pain like your wedding veil. With great duty and ceremony, it weighs on your neck. Lace tenderly brushing your cheek. It feels good to feel, even if it's by stroking a tear. So it tells you it's a friend and lets you hide behind its skirt to clutch like a scared child, holding on so tight that the hope of ever letting go slips through clenched fingers. Unrelease remains an addiction, impermanent affliction that paralyzes you like stone but soft, you malleable marble, a monument to your grief you have made, a temple intemperate to consecrate you, wrought nature to evade natural decay, to erect some beauty atop unhealed earth. Pain is an ancient tradition. So let ceremonies find their ends. Lift the veil, lay it to rest. You have life to return to yet. This temple has no rooms for sleep, child. Sweep the floors, dust the altar. Thank you for your offering. Your statue will stay here, and it will always be yours. You have life to return to yet. Your walls have fallen. Have you noticed? Your oasis is absent. Inundated in the imaginary, you burrow into yourself because you've learned to fear ordinary touch, real touch. Afraid, hurt, the animal inside reaches a wounded limb out looking for fearless connection, looking for something on the other side of injury. Storms will come again to wreck your walls. Your weary hands hesitate, not wanting to.
Your healing must not wait. Don't tap the glass. All walls fall. Aching, feeling fingers reach for rubble, for refuse to reuse. Spirits broken and mending. People putting pieces back together. People ready to receive an earth whose storms will return. Next time, known. Drizzles turn to torrents in an instant. Wait. There is nothing to do but wait.